Charlie Mike. Yeah. Let's go.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Charlie Mike Show.
Hey, good job.
Yeah. As always, I'm your host, Raul, and your co-host, William.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back. We're coming to you from the Pearland Podcast studio, just out to Houston, Texas, man. Feels good.
Does, man. We're back on the road.
I know. July was...
Hectic.
Yeah, it was. But life is good, man.
Life is good.
You know, like I said, July's been crazy. And for me, many of you may know already, my wife and I have a second business. It's Shaved Ice Lemonades, and it's summer, so it's busy. You know, there's lots of big events. This is our fourth season, so we know what to expect. We've got a couple of stands. It's hot, and I definitely want to get one just to put here at the office. Like, that's how hot it is.
Yeah.
But, yeah, man, snow cones is life.
That's good, man. Nice.
Like it's snow cones and lemonades, bro.
I see you guys hustling out there, bro. I ain't mad at you, man. That's awesome. I don't know how y'all do it because it's a little warm here in Texas.
It is, but that's what makes it so great.
Yeah, that wouldn't make me want to stay inside the house.
My huge sale is like there's ice creams, right? People love soft serve ice creams. Ice cream melts too fast. It melts so fast, you know, and then you got the milk, right, that folks use. So I'm like, get you a snow cone. Just saying.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So, man, as you all can tell that we have a guest in the show.
That's right. So we did a live show a couple ago, and that was our time. It was just me and Raul and I. But now we're back on track with the role of guest. Our guest today is Mr. Trevor Neill. He was already on once, and we lost the audio. You know, it just kind of happens where sometimes these files get corrupted if you're not too careful with them. But so we've since replaced it, and we wanted to bring him back on, even though this is the first time that you guys are hearing from him, because he actually reached out to us. We checked him out. We had him on the show once, and the conversation was so phenomenal. We're like, we can't let this go. So here he is. How are you, Mr. Trevor?
I'm doing well. You know, Charlie Mike, take two.
That's right, man.
Yeah.
You know?
The sequel is always better, right? Hopefully
Yeah, I
in
hope
this
so.
case.
It will be. You know, I remember. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your time before the military? What was that like?
Geez, I grew up in Cape May, New Jersey.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can hear the accent.
Yeah,
Which is awesome.
That's why I said water, not water. So I moved to South Carolina when I was 13, 14.
Oh, okay.
And then, you know, just basic teenage stuff. Joined the military when I was 20. Yeah, it was 2002. I joined the Navy. 2002 to 2006, I was in the Navy. And an interesting thing about me, I was both in the Navy and in the Army.
Yeah.
So Navy, obviously, 02 to 06. I was stationed in Yokosuka, Japan on the USS Kitty Hawk, a.k.a. the Shitty Kitty. Yes. It was horrible. But
It sounds like a strip club day. Sorry.
Dude, remember that place outside of Fort Stewart, the Dirty Nickel? Well, I can't remember what it was called. It was called like the Silver Dollar or something like that.
Oh,
or-
Silver Dollar.
Was it?
Yeah.
We would call it the Dirty Nickel.
yeah, ain't no silver dollars in there.
Yeah, no, there's nothing nice in there.
But what I enjoyed about my time in the Navy, man, I made some really, really good friends.
Yeah.
Not only friends, but they became my brothers and sisters. And then got out, ETS'd in the Navy in 06. Long story short, landed a good job. The economy took a dump, 2008. So at that time, I had 2 kids. We just bought a house, 2 new cars. I had a good job, got laid off. So I didn't really have no skill set, you know. In the Navy, I chalked and chained aircrafts. So it's not like you can chalk and chain aircrafts in the civilian world. So I literally went back, tried to go back in the Navy, and the Navy recruiter was like, well, because of the height of Afghanistan and Iraq war, we're not taking any prior service anymore. So I literally walked out of the Navy door and walked in the Army recruiting office. And the Army recruiter was like, okay, what's wrong? You got a DUI, domestic violence. What waiver do we need for you? Because at that time, they was taking anyone who could walk and chew gum.
Yeah.
I was like, no, man.
That's a hard skill, man.
Definitely is.
I was like, no, man, I just need a job. So he's like, okay. So I went into the Army April 08, and I ETS'd in December 2014.
Dang.
Yeah, so with
That's a good run.
reserve time, a little bit over 11 years.
Yeah.
Military service.
So what were you doing in between then? You said you had a pretty good job, but what, like?
I was actually doing elevators. I
Oh,
was
okay.
elevator construction, so I was building elevators. Yeah.
That's a good deal. That is a good paying job. I got a friend that does that.
It is a really good
And I
paying
think
job.
there's a lot of places are unions too.
Yeah, so it's all unionized.
Yeah, there you
so,
go.
But like their pension is phenomenal, the benefits. Yeah, but I was the low man on the totem pole. The economy took a crap.
Yeah, hey man, you got to go.
Yeah.
Dang.
I don't know, man. Elevators. It seems like a lot of responsibility.
Well, I'm sure it is.
Yeah, I couldn't. You know, no, it's not for me.
It's cool though. Like once you find out how they operate, it's just really cool. You know, someone operated on pistons, someone operated on counterweights. Fun fact, next time you're at an elevator, there's always going to be a little circle on the door. So that's for a key, an elevator key. It's a long stick with like a little widget on the end. So you stick it in there and you spin it and it opens up the elevator door.
Right.
So if you're ever curious what that little hole is on the elevator door, it's for an elevator key. All elevators have it.
Great. Now every time I associate elevators, I'll be looking at that hole.
I'm gonna get on there, man. I hope the same one Trevor did.
Man, that's awesome. So tell us a little bit about your time in the Navy and what are some of the differences that you noticed? Because if I recall last time, being on the Navy, or what I associate with the Navy too, is just being in more of a confined space, especially because you said you were on a ship with a bunch of, I don't know, what's the work schedule like?
So it was when I was deployed, it was 12 on, 12 off.
Oh.
So I was on the flight deck. And it's literally like, I call them family, you know, your friends, because you live together, you eat together, you work together. We're literally like this all day long for 4 years straight. So it was 12 on, 12 off, depending on the time. It's usually 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. But import, it's usually 7:30 to about 1600. That was just, you know, the regular import, outport schedule.
Man, because obviously Raul and I are both on the Army, and you were too, but it's what I assume too is just the relationships you build are expanded. And then you said you were deployed, so what type of scheduling does that have an effect when you're downrange doing that?
So Iraqi Freedom, 2003, March, we got the call. I'll never forget, because I was using the bathroom, and the captain came on the 1MC. It's like, oh, we got the call. We're going to replace the Kennedy, the USS Kennedy on Persian Gulf. And I was scared, you know, because you had anthrax going on, you had sandstorms, all these crazy shit going on. And I think at the time I was 21, 22. So I literally had a freaking panic attack. Like, there's all this uncertainty that's going on in my head. So we got the call. Obviously, we went over there. And then for that particular deployment, our work schedule was a little bit longer because we were running flight ops 24/7. So we were literally working 16, 17 hours a day, 7 days a week for about 2 months straight.
Dang.
And I remember I used to hate waking up in the morning because I used to chalk and chain aircraft so much that when I wake up in the morning, my hands would literally be like,
Slow to open.
yeah. It's crazy.
'Cause
It's
of your
like
grip.
because of the chain and the gripping. And
Well, so what kind of aircraft were you guys chaining?
Tomcats, Prowlers, and F-14s. Yeah. F-14s.
How long was that first deployment?
3 months.
Dang. I like you said, I remember, or I can only visualize and imagine what that's like to be on the go
It sucked.
for so long.
Because you're doing the same thing, you're seeing the same people, you're eating the same food for 3 months straight. There wasn't no port visit or anything. It was literally 16 to 17 hours a day, 7 days a week for 3 months straight.
The same thing over and over, right?
Yeah. Groundhog Day.
Groundhog
Really.
Day, every day.
Every day. Every day.
Man.
But you know what? We built such a good camaraderie, between me and the guys, because, once you go through shitty times with people, it just makes you so much closer. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Shared struggle.
Shared struggle.
And I think that's a thing that we talk a lot about on the Charlie Mike show is that getting in touch with veterans again is because our struggle may not be the same, but it is shared. We understand that, like being in the Navy and what you're describing to me doesn't seem a whole lot of fun, but there's been times where we've had struggles too in vehicles and stuff, like that shared space for your ops, and you're like, man, this sucks, but at least we're all sucking together.
Yeah. Embrace the suck, as they should say. You haven't heard that in a while, huh?
Yeah.
Actually, it's used a lot. I hear a lot of people saying it. Yeah. Embrace the suck. My guy, Louis Medina, he always used to say that. Yeah. I told him, shut up.
Those days are behind me.
Yeah. Embrace nothing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so your transition to the Army, what's one of the big differences between the Army and the Navy?
I get that a lot. I feel
A
like
boat?
yeah. Well, besides that,
Yeah.
I've made more friends in the Navy than I did in the Army. I guess because we were just so close together. It's literally like jail. We worked, like I said, we worked together, slept together, but slept in the same vicinity together. We did everything together, and just build our bond more. As versus the Army, we kind of just met at the motor pool and then went our separate ways.
Yeah.
I still have great friends from the Army, but it's just not the same. And I also felt like I had more time off in the Army than I did the Navy. It seemed like every other week was a 4-day weekend.
That's
like
right.
A training holiday.
At least once a month.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell is a training holiday? It's like, oh, well, if like President's Day fell on Monday, we'll get that Friday off or that Tuesday. I'm like, man, I love this shit.
And I never realized that too, or thought about it much when it comes to the differences between the Navy and the Army. You're on the boat, so that is the life, right?
Yeah.
So how much time would you spend at port?
So we would do a port visit every 4 days. And the sucky thing about it is one of those days you would have duty. So like we would have to stay on the ship for 24 hours, do watches, fire watch, whatever. But a lot of guys, they would do, if you got approved, they would just do leave for 4 days. So that way you don't have to stay on your duty.
Got you.
So yeah, I've been to Australia, Hong Kong, Guam, Singapore, Korea. I actually was stationed in Korea, Camp Humphreys in the Army. But I've been all over.
Yeah.
Perth and Sydney, Australia. So I've seen the best.
Both sides of it.
Both
huh?
sides.
That's pretty cool, bro.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're well traveled. I was
A lot of
definitely
traveling.
well traveled in the Navy versus the Army, because the Army I went to Fort Jackson, Fort
Yeah.
Hood, Fort Campbell.
The armpits of
Yeah.
America.
Literally.
Fort Hood is a great place.
They
Said no
make
one
y'all
ever.
say that.
Yeah.
It's actually called the Great Place, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. They make y'all say that.
Yeah. False advertisement.
Yeah, they lied. Yep.
That's what I tell folks. If you're going to join the Army, just know you're going to be at a base that has lots of land,
Yeah.
right? And it's just, and everyone around there's going to be a military town. At least with the Navy or the Coast Guard, you're more likely to get by the coast.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Makes sense.
Just saying,
Yep.
if you like beach weather, go for it,
Yeah.
Definitely.
And that's so I would say fairly recent, within the last decade, all right? you transitioned out. What was that transition out like for you?
It was tough because, 11 years in the military, you always had a support system. And when you got out, you were just literally like just kind of whirling in the wind out there. You didn't have a first sergeant to talk to. You didn't have a team leader. You were on your own. And that's a huge deal for veterans. They don't have that support. They're lost. They're literally a lost puppy. So they have to do things on their own. Actually, kind of retracting, when I got out of the Navy, when I got laid off, the reason being, when I went in the Army, I didn't have a good job skill, that I got from the military. So I literally went in the Army preparing myself to ETS. As
soon as you went in.
Yeah. So I got a good job skill. I had knocked out majority of my college. Any certifications that they offered, I got. So I prepared myself from day one to get out. And when I got out, I was fully, I was ready. I wasn't a lost puppy.
So kind of expand on that a little bit for me. How can somebody who's in right now get themselves ready to transition, to get out?
Take advantage of everything the military offers you. TA, that's college, any certification programs, any extracurricular training, anything that can translate over to the civilian sector to make your life easier to get employment. Take advantage of it, because they're taking advantage of you. That's the way I look at it. And that's the way I tell veterans today.
Yeah, I know one of the things that I was able to do before I got out was EMTV, right? I went to the emergency medical training or technician basic course, so I got to get that. And I got a welding course too.
Okay.
Because it was like, hey man, I want to try this out.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I couldn't tell you what those skills are anymore, any of the terms, but I got to go for like 6 weeks to the training instead of going to work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's something that we definitely got to do, is make sure to share that. Like, man, there's all kinds of stuff. If you just go by your education center, whatever's closed, it doesn't have to just be, that 4-year degree. There's all kind of things that you can go out there, like you mentioned, certificates, just to go and get. And if you're in, HR is phenomenal. There's a great big field of that. And I think, kind of like a hypothesis that I'm going off of, I think that vets, we all possess this certain set of leadership skills. If we were to accompany that with some HR as well, then we could really fit into any company that were to hire us. It was like, hey, you know what? I can lead because I also know, corporately, civilian-wise, how to handle some HR issues.
Yeah. And that's a huge deal for companies, hiring veterans. Leadership is such a tangible skill that they don't teach in school. So that's the number one thing that companies and corporations look for, leadership. And it goes back to when my end in Fort Hood, I was actually enrolled in a Microsoft, it was called the MSSA program, the Microsoft Systems, I don't know what the next S&A stands for, but they would teach you, it was like a coding boot camp and computer applications boot camp. But what they really wanted, they wanted these vets to come to Redmond, Washington to lead these teams of geeks, really. Because once again, they're looking for leaders. You can teach anybody a job, but you can't teach them leadership skills. Those are, you have to earn your stripes, sort of say.
I think that's a big thing for vets or for corporations to realize is, I just got to know a little bit. Like, even when it comes to this podcasting realm, like for us specifically, I got to know enough to get us by, so I know how to, when a technician does come in, or when a video editor comes in, I know what it is I want to see. So it's having a basic understanding of that skill set, so that I can lead them. Like, hey, this is what I want. This is the vision.
Yeah.
This is the vision. This is the mission. These are all the things that we want to see. And just to be able to help, like, understand what they're doing, so that I can lead them, motivate them, get them to where it is we want.
Yeah, exactly.
Microsoft. That's Microsoft, man.
Yeah, that's a good one. I would definitely go back and if I could go back, I would do more programming, like Microsoft, more Adobe, things like that. Maybe I would have came out with a business degree. I don't know. If I would have known, maybe I'd have learned numbers more, things like that.
We're also a bunch of enlisted men. One of the things that I noticed too about officers, I swear we just talked about this not long ago, is that oftentimes officers, they already have their degrees, of course, and then when they get out, they'll go back for a business degree because it makes sense that now they are understand how to lead. They can go in and help any business, and that's where most of them are getting hired.
Yeah.
So if you're enlisted out there, that's they're your competition too. Get your education up.
Yeah,
and you can definitely outwit them.
Go to school.
Well, while the military is offering it, like I'm not a big advocate for more schooling, but I see its benefits.
Yeah. I'm the same exact way because school nowadays is just total trash. I mean, there's so much
We had that
money.
conversation yesterday.
There's so much money right now that you can make online. I mean, we just talked about the lady Pinky Doll on TikTok acting like an AI robot. She's making $7,000 a day. $7,000 a day.
I don't know. I'm going to have to look it up. Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah, it's interesting. I just seen it pop up. Like, so basically, she's filling this role of like she's live, and then you can send her like requests and money to do things, and you can kind of control her basically.
Yeah, so you'll send her like a cowboy hat or a rose. What she does with those gifts on TikTok, she will transform those gifts into diamonds on her end and diamonds into cash. So you can cash out diamonds and it'll be real money on her end.
Yeah.
So
And so she's like spending a lot of her time online, live, and these users can come in and send her things, and she'll react to it.
Okay.
Yo,
So it's kind of like
crazy.
Stars on Facebook.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Same concept, but she's actually doing that.
Oh.
But like when so if I were to send you a star and you'd be like, hey, I want you to scratch your head, and then she scratches her head. You know what I mean? And so like the users are controlling you basically.
Yeah.
And you're doing what they want you to do. You're like,
It's different. It's different.
And you know what? It's a huge fantasy to a lot of people, and that's why they do it. She's just attacking that market.
Yeah. God.
There's just a bunch of ways.
There is. And you know what? I think this is a perfect little segue because there are many ways that you can make money online. And I think veterans don't know that yet, right when we get out.
Yeah.
Right. None of us know that. Like, how the heck? I'm just trying to figure out how to make my next paycheck, make sure my family's good, right? And that's honorable, and I really admire that. A lot of us will just go work a job, which is cool. I think a lot of us start there. But you have found success in the online world as well. So tell us what you got going on with that, with your business.
Before you start that question, remember that question. We're gonna take a short break, and William is coming to you with some promos.
Yeah. So don't forget, the Charlie Mike Show is brought to you by Charlie Mike Military Apparel. Make sure you guys go on there and check it out. Today I'm actually wearing the Gold Star shirt. It's the Gold Star shirt, never forgotten. And what allows this whole studio to continue to run is your support. So we really appreciate you guys tuning in with us, checking us out every week. Do everything you can to share, subscribe, like all those good things, because they help us keep rolling with this. And if you're also interested in podcasting, Pearland Podcast Studio, let us know. We're more than happy to help you share, grow, and learn what and why to podcast. Raul.
That's it, you guys. So be sure to check us out. Follow us on Charlie Mike Military Apparel, Pearland
Podcast Studio,
and be sure to check out all our social medias. And be sure to follow William on all his social media platforms like Mustache Wisdom. That's TikTok, IG, and Facebook. Y'all be sure to follow him on TikTok if you're a TikTok person.
Yeah, I'm trying to be like that 1,000 followers. Get there, bro. Go live.
Yeah. So go back to the question. I apologize. I didn't mean
No, it's
to
all
cut you
good.
off.
Trevor's going to tell us a little bit about his business now, because I know you've got a lot of knowledge, man, and I want to hear what you got going on.
Yeah, so it started kind of like the long story short. I broke my foot. I used to do jiu-jitsu a lot. So I broke my foot. This was beginning of 21. Yeah, and so I was on the couch. I couldn't go to the gym. I couldn't train. I couldn't do nothing. So, lo and behold, I was on TikToking away on the couch with a broken foot. And I started seeing a lot of this, guys and girls going into TJ Maxx and scanning stuff right off the shelves and making a profit for it, on Amazon. Mm-hmm. So I started looking more and more into that and got into it, failed a couple times. Opened up a dog business, private label dog business in the summer of 21. The margins, that was successful. The margins were there, but it was pennies on a dollar, and I'm more of a dollars guy. So I kind of did away with that, and I started getting really more into retail and online arbitrage. So, and that's where you're going to the stores, scanning barcodes, looking up items, and what you're doing, you are looking for what I call underserved ASIN. So give me an example. I was sourcing shop towels from Lowe's. So I would take a 3-pack of shop towels and I would purchase them for, let's say, $40, and I would resell them on Amazon for $89.99. And you're thinking, who the hell is going to pay $89.99 for shop towels that you can get at Lowe's? A lot of people are, because it's an underserved ASIN. Think about that mechanic in Ashtabula, Ohio, where he doesn't live around a Lowe's. He doesn't live around a Home Depot. So what's easier and what's convenient for him to pull out his phone and push that Prime button? And he knows by Amazon's Prime Promise, it'll be on his doorstep in 1 to 2 days. So those are products that I attack. Built a successful business doing that. And I wanted to get more and more into it. So that led to building my own consulting company, helping brands and businesses get their products on Amazon. Because when you're a small business or a small brand, you know where everybody's eyeballs are at.
Yeah.
It's on Amazon. And being a small business owner or brand and you try to get your product on Amazon, it's literally like reading kanji. It's so confusing. You don't know what to do. And that's where me and my company come in to kind of bridge that gap, help you get on there, obviously, with a optimized listing and help being seen, because you can have the best product in the world, but if you're not being seen, you won't sell.
I love that. It started off with, a little bit of interest, playing the game, trying it out. You got to do action. And so if you're a vet out there, I highly encourage you just to put it into action.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing,
Absolutely.
Like, just try it out. I share often, I'm a Gary Vee fan, and it's like garage selling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Go garage sell,
Yeah.
do what you got to do, figure out the hustle. What it is, do I like this or not? So you're continuing to grow this brand, right? And and learn more about Amazon. And I know last time you spoke about Click Me Pros, right?
Yeah, so that's my company, my consulting company, Click Me Pros, clickmepros.com. So we help small brands and businesses get on Amazon and just maximize their potential. Like I said before, we do optimization, photography, advertising. We're just a one-stop shop. And I also just launched last month my coaching program. So if you want to learn how to flip on Amazon, and I'm very different from other coaching programs where you don't have to shell out thousands and thousands of dollars. You just pay me hourly. We'll do it on Zoom. You get the recorded Zoom meeting. It's pretty much hand-holding for however many sessions you want, and you can just go off on your way.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, yeah, I not only teach that, but I also teach advanced training too. So when you want to PPC, pay-per-click ads, optimization, there's a software called Helium 10 to read the data. I also do training on that also, as well.
Man. So are you doing all this by yourself?
So I have a business partner.
Cool.
And then I have a team of VAs also.
Nice.
Virtual assistants.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to get this guy to get a few of those.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So we're growing. I was at a conference, Amazon conference, beginning of July.
Yeah.
And I also have my own brand out, my own snack brand. It's just killing it. It's we just got Amazon's Choice a couple weeks ago, and I'm just killing the game. I have 10 products out right now. About to launch another one. Probably
what is
in
that
the
brand
next
called?
2 weeks. It's called Schoolhouse Snacks.
Yeah.
So you can just punch that in on Amazon and then just browse our store. So we have, a regular snack box. We have a slime liquors box, Hubba Bubba box, all kinds of cool stuff. And I cater more of that toward, kids and, teenagers and stuff like that. Because you'll never run out of kids.
Moms.
Yeah, exactly. And not only kids, but I cater to the parents, the busy parents. So going back to that mechanic in Ashtabula, Ohio, not every mother or busy father lives around a Costco or a Sam's to get these varieties of snacks all in one place. So not only do they buy, but they also subscribe too. I have like over 100 subscribers right now.
Yeah. That's awesome. So I'm curious, what do you think, what do you attribute from the military that's helped you learn or bridge the gap for all within business?
Just, I guess, believing yourself, fail. I failed a lot of times. And I'm sorry.
Yeah, bro.
Because
it's real, man. I appreciate you sharing that. I'd like to give you a second to catch, but that's real because I think a lot of folks will see someone like you and they're like, oh man, this guy's got it all together. He's doing so great. And it's like, yeah, but it's because I failed.
Yeah, exactly. I started in 2018 with my own supplement line.
Okay.
And I launched that on Amazon, and I didn't know shit about Amazon. The company, it was actually in Georgia. They set me up with the Seller Central account, and they just left me like roadkill, like fend for yourself, because obviously they got their money. So there was just no support there, friends, family. I'll tell you what, you want to know who your true friends are, you start a small business. I'm dead ass serious.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Dead ass serious. Because it's funny. They won't support you, but they'll, go out and support, Jordan and buy his sneakers.
Right.
And be loyal to that brand, but not your own boy's brand. But yeah, find out who your true friends are. You start a small business or a small brand.
I agree 100%, man. I agree, definitely.
But yeah, I've failed multiple times, but I just never gave up on myself. And it just goes back to the military, like day 2 in boot camp. I was actually just telling my daughter this a couple weeks ago. I wanted to go home. I was 19, 20 years old, and I remember I told the, I think they were called APOCs, Assistant Petty Officer in Charge in the Navy. But anyways, the equivalent to a drill sergeant. I was like, excuse me, APOC, I think I told him like my nose was bleeding for a couple hours and I need to go home. He's like, just drink more water. I gave him some stupid ass excuse, but it was just kind of like there. Okay, I'm here. Don't give up on myself, because what am I going to do when I go home? I'll probably have regret of not finishing out. So basically answering your question, not giving up on yourself, and you're going to fail. Dude, I fail every day. I micro fail. I don't macro fail. There's a huge difference there. Micro fail, I could have had a conversation with my daughter, the other day about something, and I didn't. Macro fail, I'm not making stupid inventory purchases, without reading the data. So don't be afraid to fail. Fail every day.
It's okay.
Yeah. Just like your shirt. Try.
Yeah. Just for today. Yep. That's what it is, man. You got to find what works best for you.
Yeah, and it was hard. Like when I was failing, there was just no support, no fucking support whatsoever, and that's really what hurt me the most. Just no support. So I was like, fuck it, I'll do it on my own. A lot of my friends and family, they don't know about my snack brand because I don't need your fucking support. Once you have the support of strangers, you don't need your friends and family. And that's another thing. When you level up, you're going to lose people. Oof. You're going to lose people. You're going to, once you once you get in a whole new circle, man, you're going to lose. That's friends and family.
Yeah.
Because you just leveled up, because you're on a whole new mindset than they are. They're just freaking complacent. Think about your friends and even family members, 3 years ago, before you started this podcast. Think about your new friends now. Think about your circles.
Yeah.
Think about your circle now versus 3 years ago. Totally different.
A lot of love turned into jealousy.
Yeah.
And some hate, to be honest with you.
Dang.
Yeah.
If you don't have haters, you ain't doing nothing right.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, it's true, man. It's true. Yeah. And I believe that. Yeah.
100%.
Man, and I think it's it's so interesting because I think for vets we forget that it's easy for us to make friends.
Yeah.
This is why I keep pushing the join a veterans group.
Yeah.
Get around comments, because you'll make new friends, and you just hit the nail on the head. The point that I'm making with making new friends is the more friends you'll that's a true skill, being able to make new friends, and the company you keep, right, can continue to push you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure I'm sure you found us because you're of what we're talking about and what we're doing, plus the algorithm. Yeah. Plus the algorithm, but everybody will check us out like, what are these guys actually about?
Yeah.
And that's why I was really happy to have you come back on, because the concept of micro failing, the shared struggle, hearing your story now, just makes us really want to be friends with you.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this guy fails too.
Yeah.
It's not so scary to see him as, hey, you know what? When we have those issues that we come up with, here's someone that I can trust, that I can turn to, because he's just like us.
Yeah. Build your Rolodex. Build your Rolodex of everybody's valuable. I don't care if you're sweeping the fucking floors in Sam's or the CEO. Everybody has something that you can leverage, or having your Rolodex. So.
Yeah, I love it, man.
Yeah, I love.
Thank you for saying. Can I say fuck on this podcast?
Say whatever the fuck you want, bro.
Because I did that one a couple months ago, and they're real like a Christian oriented community.
Oh yeah.
And I find it a lot more professional if you don't cuss.
Yeah, the only thing we try to stay away
out.
from, to be honest with you, is politics and a little bit of religion.
Yeah.
We try to stay away from those things.
Those things I don't even talk about. So
It's just
I'm
it's
the
not
perfect guest.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Yeah. And to be completely honest with you, man, I don't even watch the fucking news. So I don't know what's going on in the world.
So before you started selling, and when you got out, did you work?
Yeah, so I did IT.
Oh, okay.
So I did, right out of the Army, I actually got a job for, it sounds shady, but it's a legitimate company, for two Russian brothers, and they were running the help desk, or they were running their company. It was a help desk company out of their garage. Now that sounds sketch, especially back in 2015, but real great guys. So I worked there for a couple of months, and then I went into a GS position for Social Security. So I worked for Social Security for about a year and a half, and it was actually at the old office on Bissonnette. So I didn't know that area was filled with prostitutes.
I was gonna say hood.
Yeah.
So they recently moved, probably like a year ago.
The prostitutes?
No.
That's news to me.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because I'll never forget when I went out to lunch, like on my second day, a girl came up to my car. Like I'm sitting there at the light, and she's like, God, what did she say? She's like, hey, baby, something like that. And I was like, no, ma'am, I'm just, the only thing I'm trying to eat today is some McDonald's. And I turned off. And I think the funniest thing was that she laughed at my joke more than I did. But, yeah.
That's too funny.
So you worked at is it Social Security?
Yeah, so Social Security office, and then I worked for Department of Justice afterwards, doing the same thing. And then I retired out, and I just do this full time.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
How did you like the Social Security office?
I loved it.
Yeah.
You know, the people were freaking awesome. You could wear this in the work, and you were in the bag. So it was actually the ODAR office. So it was like the highest Social Security. I say the highest Social Security office, but I was never in the public eye, so I was always in the office section. But really, really great people. I made a lot of good friends there. But, you know, it was time to level up. You know, got a new job, got a new promotion. And even there, you know, I made great friends at Department of Justice, and then doing my own thing now.
You know, I think that's another common path that vets can kind of see themselves in, right? Like get out, go to work. And a lot of folks, that could be where they want to go, you know, working for the government or a GS position. You know, again, what skills do you think that you possessed or learned for the military that helped you with those jobs?
Well, it goes back to when I first went in the military or re-entered the military. I prepared myself from day one to get out. College degree, a tangible MOS. You know, I did computer. I was a 25 Bravo, certifications. So prepare. The Army, the military in general, is not going to be around forever. You know, eventually you will have to leave. So prepare yourself in there. So I was able to prepare myself to go in the civilian sector a lot easier than I was, you know, in 2006. So just prepare yourself.
So that's your best advice for someone going into the military, getting out. Just prepare yourself to get out. Yeah.
Prepare yourself to get out.
Yeah.
Take advantage of the military because they will take advantage of you.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. I love
That's
it.
facts.
Yeah. And people ask me, like, what's an advice that you would give me? And I say, regardless of what the military says, always put your family first.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's your priority, and that always should be. You remember how they used to teach us, like, it was Army, family, then, you know, like, nah. It's family. Then, you know, the Army's like 4 or 5, you know?
That's another thing. That's another difference I've seen in the Army. Like, they put family first.
Yeah.
Like, we would have family days.
Yeah.
In Fort Hood and Korea. I'm like, what the hell is a family day?
That's interesting.
And they're like, oh, that's where you just go home at 1400 and spend time with your family. It's like, okay.
Stuart.
Yeah. They were big time on that.
Thursdays.
Thursdays was Hood.
Yeah.
Thursdays.
Thursdays was Hood. I remember that.
It was the same as Fort Stewart. It was, we'd come in, I think we got a late, and it was like, but you start at 7, so you're not going home for breakfast, or something like that. And so we would come in, and then, but by, you know, sergeant's time, and by 1400, we were done.
Yeah, I remember we were in the motor pool, and one of the brigadier generals drove by, and this was after we were supposed to be released. Oh, man.
He lit them up.
He went crazy. Like, everybody that was in the motor pool, there was only a few of us. We all got the next day off. Like, all those NCOs and everybody. I was just private, man, and all those NCOs got blown up. Bro, it was crazy. It was funny, but it was crazy. I remember that,
Yeah, don't mess with family day.
Nah. Yeah. He was like, what are y'all doing here? We were like,
Get to your families.
Weeping?
Yeah.
He said, go home. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Like, who is that? I don't know, man. He had too many stars. I was like, I got to go home. I got nothing. No, I think what is so great, and I really appreciate you coming on about all this, is that no matter where you've been, and I hope I relate this a lot of vets can see themselves in you, and it's like, you're successful because you're trying.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just wanting to do a little bit better with what our current situation is. So can you tell me, what do you think has changed for you in the last year or so? Like, because I mean, obviously, I know you knew you had the potential, but now, like, I can clearly see there's confidence about you, you know? And so what do you think, when do they think that change came about?
You know what? My drastic change came, I would say, the beginning of this year, especially February. Just my mindset. I was more positive. And actually, the biggest thing, I used to hoard a lot of information, you know. Like, I was such a how. I think we talked about this before, the book, Who Not How, where you're working in self-isolation and hoarding all this information, and not finding your who's. But anyways, once I started, like, giving free information and helping people, showing more gratitude, and not expecting anything back.
Right.
I seen that shit come back 3-4 times my way. It's just getting out of your comfort zone, having a positive mindset, and just helping people. You know, I know a lot of rich people that just go out of their way, especially, you know, people like e-commerce sellers in my world, like 8-figure sellers. They just go out of their way and they help people. And that helping people is more than making their next, you know, $100,000 a month. It's so much to them. And I've been implementing that more. Like, people message me on Facebook all the time, especially after the conference, like, hey, I got this question, and I'm always answering them back. And it's just, they're so thankful, and, you know, they have gratitude, I have gratitude, and you just be more helpful to people, and you just watch that shit come back. So mindset and helpfulness, you know, and being helpful.
And that is powerful.
It's very powerful because it's something that we talk about a lot, man.
Yeah.
We talk about it's not about the dollar. It's not
Exactly.
about it's not about
Exactly.
us. It's about we want to help. We want to help everyone around us you know, be successful. We want to share our stories and hope that it helps someone else. You know, it's all about giving back. And I think that's why we click very well, because we're a lot alike. And a lot of different. I'm good looking. He's not. You know.
Clearly.
Yeah.
And that's another thing too, because why I help so many people, especially e-commerce and Amazon sellers, I've been in their shoes, but no one would help me. And I know the fucking struggle. I know the struggle, you know, and it's just literally my way of not only giving back to them, but, you know, good karma for the universe.
Yeah.
Because I know what it felt like not being helped. So there were plenty of nights that I were dumpster diving on YouTube, you know, trying to find information on how to do this, on how to do that, doing it on my own. And you will not succeed doing anything on your own. I don't care what the fuck you do. You know, you need a team. You need systems in place. You cannot work in self-isolation. You will not win.
Yeah.
Raul.
Sharing that information. And, you know, like you talk about failures. When we started this thing, man, you know, we had no idea what we were doing.
Yeah.
You know, even when we started the apparel brand, we had no idea what we were doing. We just like, let's see what happens. And as it went, you know, we learned. I was like, oh, damn, there's taxes. Oh, this. You have to do this. You have to do this. Yeah. You know, even with when Will came on, you know, there's a lot of things, a lot of habits I had to change myself. Yeah. You know, so it was just, it's different. But it's, I don't know where I was going with that. Yeah.
Squirrel. Yeah. You were talking about needing a team, not being able to go alone.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
just
the struggles.
Learning from your mistakes. So what we always preach that if you're interested in what we're doing, let us show you what works for us and not what didn't. You know, we can tell you the things that didn't work. Don't do that.
That's exactly what I
And
do.
it's the same way when people come up to us and they ask us, okay, how did you start the apparel brand? How did you do this? How did you do that? And one thing that pisses me off the most, man, is if I tell you, hey, don't do it this way, and then I see you doing it that way, I'm like, you asked. Then why did you even ask me? You know, like.
I'll get also on our circle trip, I'll get a lot of friends, personal friends that reach out to me because they know I'm having great success. And I'm like, hey, you know, I want to learn too. It's like, okay, hop on my calendar, but go on kind of like the free portion, the business consultation part. That way you don't have to pay. They don't fucking do it. Like, you know how much I charge an hour to teach?
You date
and I'm giving you this shit for free?
It's like, there's no point.
Fucking do it.
Yeah, I'm just going to I just might as well just charge
because
you.
they're complacent. They're comfortable.
Well, it's a lot of things. I mean, like, there's a lot of stuff that we do for free as well, but it's like when you actually start to charge, then it's like, okay, well, you know what? I paid for it. I'm going to show up.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, like YouTube, there's a bunch of stuff on YouTube that's free, but if I pay for the class, I'm more likely to show up for the class.
Exactly.
You know, and it's funny. It's just so funny.
But the fact, I mean, you guys get it too. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, okay.
It's an experience. I'll tell you that. Entrepreneurship, being
Yeah,
a
it
business,
really
small
is.
business is something.
Yeah.
So
Like you say, you learn a lot about the people around you, and then people that weren't interested in the beginning, but now they're seeing that you're doing. Oh, that might be something.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing? How you been?
Yeah.
Oh
Pique
man,
the
where
curiosity.
were you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Where were you when I launched my supplement brand, 2018? That's exactly, friends and family will not support you, but they will support Michael Kors, Michael Jordan, or whatever brand out there.
Yeah. Or we were talking about t-shirt cost.
yeah,
So he says people will buy $50 shirts from so and so, but at the same time say your shirts are too expensive. You know what I mean? Like it's just different things like that. I agree 100%. Yeah.
yeah. So what are some other ways that you're continuing to give back? I know you had mentioned classes.
Classes, someone messaged me on Facebook other than giving free information, brands and small businesses, consulting. So I have my own brand. So as far as giving back, I just stay busy.
Yeah.
Busy all the time. I don't know if that answered your question.
No, I guess I was kind of leaning towards so when I know you said you had a class in the works that you wanted to do for vets.
Oh, yeah. So actually that is, we're wrapping that up right now, the framework. So me and my business partner, Josh. So it's just part of giving back. So I'm I'm hosting a free Amazon 101 workshop for veterans and military families. I talked to James.
Oh, cool.
So we were texting. I'm probably going to go up there next week.
Awesome,
and
man.
just scope out the site.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we're going to do it in person or via Zoom. Now, the only reason why I say via Zoom because we run a lot of software on our computers, so we need strong internet, and I really don't want lag time, in college, and then I'll have to fill it with talking, which is no problem. But I just want to give them the full good experience. So that's kind of in the works. But Amazon 101 course, just basic learning how to flip and showing that there is potential out here to build a successful business. And it's such a low risk business. I mean, I'm not saying shell out thousands and thousands of dollars. I started with $100, $100 at Walgreens. And then the thing is, you keep rolling over your profits. I'm not saying quit your job and sign for a Lamborghini next Friday.
Well, I already did, man.
I mean, you can get to that point eventually, but the thing is, roll these profits over, read data, and make successful buys. It's not rocket surgery.
Yeah.
Rocket surgery?
That's right. So how can someone keep in touch with you if they're interested in that?
Yeah, so you can schedule a meeting with me at www.clickmepros.com. You can also find me on social media, Instagram at tneill28, and I'm also on Facebook too. That's TNEILL 28. Cool. I know a lot of people like NEAL, NEILL. So,
Man.
I'm curious. I mean, I asked that because I'm also curious about attending. I want to go because I just think that information is so valuable, and it's like if I can get it and help introduce the vet, like that really fills me up. Like being able to go to these classes and learn all this stuff. It's great, but like you said,
and it's really eye-opening.
Being able to give it back.
Really eye-opening, not only for a customer such as yourself, but these small brands and businesses that I have consulting with. I'm totally transparent with them. I'll look at the product. We'll pull up their competitors, see what they're doing. I run all kinds of software on my computer. I can tell you what keywords are ranking for, how they're organically listed, how much revenue they're making. I know everything about your competitors. And it's just really eye-opening to these small brands and business. Like, wow, I can really make $5,000 a month. It's like, yeah, based off your competitors. And then what's working for them, we can implement it in your listing.
Right. Because guess what? They're doing the same thing.
Exactly. Exactly. It's like coding, you know.
Yeah.
No one doesn't write a code from scratch. You know, they're stealing it from different places. Businesses are like that all the time.
Yeah. And I think that's what's fantastic about the veteran community too. That we got to learn is like we're not in competition with one another. You know, there's so much commerce out there that we can all win. You know, like we're a military brand, right? But it doesn't mean that we're taking away from somebody else's brand. You know, guys are still going to buy the shirt whether they want to or not. Or vets in general, they like the shirt, they're going to buy it.
Exactly.
You know, we're not in direct competition with them.
We just need to work together.
Yes.
You know, just work together.
Cool. So I'm in. All right. So you got a good clickmepros.com, Neill 28. And of course, my last question for you is, we are Charlie Mike. Charlie Mike means continue mission. So what does that term Charlie Mike mean to you?
Charlie Mike. So this is probably be the first for this podcast is fail. You get out there and you fail your ass off, because if you ain't failing, you ain't trying. And if you ain't trying, you're just going to be the same complacent human being till you're 80, 90 years old. And then what's going to happen when you're 80 or 90, you're going to have regret. I should have did this. I should have did that. I should have married Sally Joe. Don't be in that position with regret just because you were afraid to fail.
I like this guy, man.
Bro.
I'm glad you came back, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back and just supporting you guys. Like I said, I love your mustache wisdom.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not big on Instagram, but when I do, I head for your little story.
Man, I appreciate that.
But
Yeah,
it's real motivational, real positive, and I want nothing but success for you guys. Nothing but
appreciate
success,
it, man.
Because you're in my circle now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we are.
man.
We are, man.
Definitely,
We'll,
man.
I'll be at that class. Hopefully in
it.
person. But for sure, virtually.
Be sure to give us the information that way we
Definitely.
can share it, man.
Definitely.
We'd love to share it.
Yeah.
I don't know why people follow us, so we'll gladly put it out there. Yeah. So with that, man, you got any closing?
I'm good to go, man. I don't want to follow that up. That was awesome. Probably might means a fail.
Yeah. Right? You can't beat that. You guys always thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it. Be sure to follow us, like, share, subscribe. And man, thank you again. Thank you again.
Thanks for having me.
And this was a blast. So you guys, it put me in the mood, man. Yeah. So you guys, thank you for tuning in. As always, Charlie Mike.